Oh, we're up and running, aren't we?
There you go.
Finally. I feel so bad. It's 8 minutes past 6. Well, hello there, all wicked people. I am Charles. I am the owner of Wicked Foundations Games and Accessories. Um, we're finally live. So sorry about yesterday. Just some technical difficulties. With me right now is Will. Will, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi there, William Delaney, author, comedy relief. I'm the
Stress relief.
I'm the writer. They let the writer show up on occasion and just So
Awesome. Mike?
I'm Mike Gold. I did the design for a lot of the creatures. When all your party dies, it's probably my fault.
Lisa, that's what you say to your friends.
That's actually very truthful. Either that or it's whatever I do when I push you to it. I'm like, let's make it worse.
That's not enough damage he does.
Right. Oh my gosh. So what we have here are a few questions that we handpicked from all the people. These are some that are like generic, pretty much things that we've discussed in the comments pages, but we haven't really expressed it out. The first one is any news for a Kickstarter date? Now I do greatly apologize. It was August, it was September, it was like the 1st of October, and it seems like over time we keep going around this. So currently at the moment we're looking for November. Not a specific time yet. We're still working with a lot of different moving parts, but pretty much all of the artwork, the mold, the miniature designs, and everything else that's related with artists is done. So that's amazing. I know Will has been like looking at me the whole time, like, how's that artist doing? How's that artist doing?
And it's we are so excited. No one's more excited than we are to get this launched. But Charles has very prudently, made it clear that the best Kickstarter is what we're going to put forward. So we wanted to make sure that everything was well represented. That's why it's taking us this long.
Yeah, definitely that, and also at the same time having this issue with different artists, and you don't want to rush them because, in my viewpoint of things, I'm a businessman and everything else, but at the same time, this is an art. This is an art form, so I'm pushing for quality, and so to do that, I have to give lenience and give a little bit more time to my artists. As you can plainly see, the art is amazing, the sculpts are amazing, and I'm a happy camper. My wallet's not happy.
How many artists have you worked with on this, Charles? I've never actually asked.
Right, yeah. So we got Adam Lee. Adam Lee designed the Diurnal Beast. So that's the one that has the flower head and the skull. Then we had, oh my goodness gracious, Nikola Makovic, who designed Mr. Fuzzybottom, No Eye Jack, The Twisted Toy Maker, Agony, Ecstasy, and Grandma Melka. So he did a handful. Then our other one is Christoph Young, who has designed a shit ton of all of our exclusive Kickstarter stretch goals. Kind of like what you guys saw yesterday with the Blood of Tlaloc. That was that snake-headed creature. Very awesome. I wanted something like very Mayan Aztec themed. Basically, you could totally put in your RPG setting. Basically, trademark, can't really say what snake creature you could do that with, but I think you get the hint. And then, oh goodness gracious, what's Anthony Jones, which is right here. So Anthony Jones designed the base idea of the Strigor, and from there, a lot of people also saw the other illustration with like the Strigor and the woods with a bunch of hags, which was done by Christoph Young. Christoph Young, again, being amazing at what he does. And then so many more. So like our environments were done by like Chris Cold. Our sculptors sculpts were done by Raul Tavares, Sam King, and we even have award-winning also Keito Okada from Japan. And boy, I can't be more thrilled from what I see. So
I think Okada was the first thing you showed me.
Yeah, Keito Okada was the first thing. At the time, I called it the King in Yellow. But later down the road, we kind of wanted to put our own name and touch to things. So that is what we call now Voronot, which who coined that name?
The Greek. The Greek coined that name. But I stole it from them.
Yeah. Definitely. And with every single one of those creatures, Mike was here designing them. Again, you can totally look at a few of them on our Facebook page. I know we have Mr. Fuzzy Bottom Up, No Eye Jack, and I believe the Scopatera is up there as well. Oh, and the Scopatera was also designed by Anthony Jones. That was another one I forgot. Yep, Scopatera was designed by Anthony Jones. Okay, want to move on to the next question, you guys?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this one kind of hurts. So did you organize a mailing list for people not to miss the Kickstarter? So we haven't done that yet. Currently, we are in the works with our website, which is being designed at the moment. I actually just received an email about it, and I have to like accept some stuff and agree with their terms and stuff. But basically, once the website's up, you will have the ability to go in and click on there and be on the mailing list so that you will not lose the chance to buy these amazing miniatures. But yeah, also at the same time at the website, it'll pretty much regurgitate everything that we're saying here. And in the long term, after the Kickstarter, you will be able to purchase the product on that page as well. Yeah. Oh, question 3 is I think Mike's partaking in too. So what are the CR challenge ratings ranges? So I think we have them set from 4, which is like the Scopatera, right?
Yeah, the Scopatera, and then the Mr. Fuzzy Bottom and No Eye Jack was a little bit higher,
Yeah.
like 5. Then there was Malka is like around 10, and the Toy Maker is an 8. Let's see, the Strigor is 18. Baphomet's 18.
Spoiler.
Which
we don't have a Baphomet. I mean, what? What are you talking about? Stretch goal, stretch goal, stretch goal.
Possibly a thing that I heard.
Right. Yeah. That we
off the back of a truck.
Right. We haven't been playtesting a Baphomet. Like, why would we make a Baphomet?
That makes no sense. Who am I forgetting? The Table Mimic.
Was that a?
That was a 4.
4 as well. Yeah. And the Table Mimic's just an exclusive to the Kickstarter as well. So once you go into that Kickstarter and you buy the initial product, you will get the Table Mimic in that set as well. So that's really cool. Let's see. Next we have what else do we have? So we got the Scopatera. Donald Beasts are an 8, right? I believe Donald Beasts are CR8.
Yeah, Donald Beasts are an 8.
And then Grandma Malka. So she's connected with Agony, Ecstasy, and we also have these sort of baby-like statues that we were working on a name with. So they're like that. They're like a set one encounter kind of situation. I think their combined was 12, wasn't it? Maybe 12.
With Malka?
Yeah, just the whole thing, that whole encounter.
The whole encounter. Yeah, the whole encounter kind of bumps it up to a 12 once you get all the pieces involved.
Right.
And I've got we've got to work on a better name, as you can probably guess. Baby statue isn't a terrifying name.
No. There is a very funny story with this that we'll tell for another time.
Yeah, that's a whole other live stream as to why
that's when I need to drink a little bit more. And my situations with
mechanics are good, the model's great, the art's great, the name.
Oh
yeah.
It's I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Also that and sizing. initially we had baby columns or corpse column, but then it came down to statue because they're not as big as we would have liked.
Yeah, you don't need a figure the size of a policeman's baton moving around on your mat.
Yeah.
Right, and I got the sizing of everything, and the babies, which would have been called the baby columns, would have been they
About
should
half
have
a
been
foot, right?
yeah, but they should have been taller than Agony and Ecstasy. Well, Agony and Ecstasy are fucking huge, like they're enormous. And so when I looked at it and I compared it to the size of the baby columns that the manufacturer sent me, I was like, crap. The columns that are supposed to hold up the ceiling are smaller than Agony, Ecstasy, and Grandma Malcolm.
Bumping their head on the ceiling.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, initially we said, okay, scratch that out. We'll rename and go with the flow because it's either that or we increase the size of the diameter. Basically making the base size bigger. And so the column is initially 25 millimeter. If you went up to like a 50, that would have raised that miniature up to like, what was it? Yeah, you're right, Will. It was like 6 inches.
Yeah, it was huge.
And that's
not
huge.
to say that 6 inches is, but we figured we needed to make them more around average, which I hear is
Right.
3.5 inches. 3.5 inches is average, right? Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
Guys,
Why are you all laughing?
Oh my god. Nothing. How's your sex life? So moving in from there, we just completely said, okay, we're going to keep the size because if we did increase it to 6 inches and had a 50 millimeter base, not only would that cover a field too much and require more space on a board, but at the same time it increased cost. And I don't think people want to spend like $180 or $160 MSRP on a product.
It really restricted mobility of the encounter, like Mike was saying.
It really would. Yep, it really would. So the next one we have is, what is Tales of Terror? So this is a question we get a lot. So Wicked Foundations is the company. Tales of Terror is our first line of product. Now, Tales of Terror is pretty much in a nutshell a miniature collection. We're a miniature collection first of 19 miniatures. Fully detailed. They will be hard plastic. And their sizes, of course, varying from 25 millimeter bases to 75 millimeter base, which is the Strigoi. The Strigoi is at a 75 millimeters, so it's going to be a nice size. And with that, each of those packages will consist of a bestiary, consisting of all the mechanics and the lore that both Will and Mike and myself came and collaborated with.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a nutshell, that is what Tales of Terror is. MSRP. We're looking at about, for the Kickstarter campaign, about $99.99, so $100. And then outside of that, I have to run the numbers a little bit more, but I think it'll be about $120 outside of the Kickstarter. But then again, we won't promise the table mimic and all the other extras that will come from the Kickstarter.
Now, with the Kickstarter, that's 19 minis for $100.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, we're kind of.
No, that's good. That's like $5.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of stuff, and then it's also hard plastic. We want to showcase all the detail as humanly possible that our artists put forth the effort into. If we did soft plastics, it would be cheaper, but there goes all that face feature that the artist put into it, and yeah, now you have to paint it.
It look like a Lego man.
It will look like a Lego man, exactly.
And you can pick up those soft plastic minis in other places. We wanted something distinct and unusual.
Right. I mean, there's a competitor for that. I mean, if you want cheaper product and more variety, I mean, that's Reaper Miniatures. Let's be honest. But if you want something that's of a higher quality and also contains stat blocks, I mean, that's our department. So once you come with us, you will have those mechanics for the 5th edition system. Sadly, we don't have anything for anyone else at the moment because of copyright and other rules. We can't state what game system that is. But if you're listening to this, you more than likely know what the 5th edition system is.
Yep, clearly GURPS.
Sussies.
And you notice that I'm not invited back to the next live stream.
Goodbye. Hey, I've already been questioned on my custody. I am already bad. Let's see. I think that pretty much set it forth, right? Yeah,
Covers
I think
the
we
bullet
hit it
points.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for that
pretty
one.
good.
Yeah. What
I
else
mean,
we
if
got?
anybody else is putting in the question that they have anything else on, oh, would you look at that? Nothing. So that's cool. Will the miniatures be pre-painted? So no, they will not be pre-painted nor pre-assembled. Mainly, we want to put the packaging as closely fit as possible so that it's cheaper for shipping.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if we had pre-painted miniatures, the price would not be $100, but more like $200. Let's be honest. Doing pre-painted models is very expensive, and at the same time, it's mass-produced, so the quality is, oh gosh, it's gonna look horrible, especially with the sculpts.
Yeah.
Exactly, it will tank. It will ruin the sculpt inevitably because I mean, when somebody in another country and anywhere around the world is painting this product and they're having to do like 100 of these a day, you kind of can see the downward spiral of the detail going with it, and you're still paying the same price for every single one of them. So
And we want to be a part of the community of people who make creatures
absolutely.
their own. And once you painted it and kind of worked on it yourself for a few hours, you've imbued the mini with your own personality and elements to it. I have,
Like a homunculus.
yeah, yeah, that's clearly exactly where I was headed with that. But like with the Doom board game, played it twice, but man, I spent maybe 30 hours on those minis and loved every minute of it.
Yeah, and that at the same time too, you may look at our illustrations and there's certain specific color palettes for them. Well, you may not like that color palette. You may want to go for something else. Like I know we showcase Voronot, and people always ask me, well, why is it yellow? And a lot of people understand that it's inspired by the King in Yellow. But if you're not a fan of painting yellow, you can paint it whatever color you want. It's an amazing sculpt. It doesn't even have to be very Lovecraftian. You can definitely do whatever else you want with it. Mechanically, though, it gonna hurt. Mike's like, all right, I'm ready. Rolls up the sleeves, cracks the knuckles. Let's do this.
Yeah, no, he's the version that's like a tactical nuke in tiny miniature form.
Definitely. I mean, I can't be happier with it. Again, designed by Kito Okada, and the illustration for it. So this was an interesting one. Okay, just for giggles. Voronot was sculpted first. So it wasn't a concept illustration or anything. Kito Okada came up with the concept, sculpted it for me. I bought it, own all the rights, and then I sent Christoph Young photos of it, and I said, "Hey, can you do a cool illustration with it?" And so that illustration you see everywhere of Voronot pretty much went from sculpt to illustration. Usually it's the other way around, which is very interesting.
The other way around.
Yeah, so it was very hard on Christoph Young's part. He was like, "Okay," like that face is very detailed. Here's a little cloud. But no, he did an amazing job. You see all the detail there. Okay, what are the miniature sizes? So we pretty much went through this, 25 millimeter to 75, except Voronot. Now, Voronot's not going to be included in the initial Tales of Terror collection. So you have Tales of Terror Collection 1, which will contain the following: Grandma Malka, Agony, Ecstasy, 4 baby columns, name change. Tabitha, Tabitha, No Eye Jack, Mr. Fuzzy Bottom, the Twisted Toy Maker, and now we go into the Strigor part. We start with Strigor, 4 Scopatera, and 2 Diurnal Beasts, and then for the Kickstarter, a Table Mimic. Then you have right. Oh my God, everyone loves this the Table Mimic. It's really cool. That one was designed by Christoph Young. Yeah. Designed by Christoph Young, sculpted by Raul Tavares. Very beautiful. Oh, we haven't even posted it yet.
The table mimic, I thought we did on our
have not
Facebook.
posted the table mimic. My heart hurts. Yeah, we have.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that later.
I thought it was like the first thing we put on.
We did the art for table mimic on Facebook. I don't think we posted the actual sculpt.
We didn't even put the art.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Huh?
My memory on these things is good, but everything else sucks. That's why I got sticky notes everywhere. What was I saying? So, table mimic. Then, in the other set, we have Tales of Terror Carcosa, which includes just one miniature, and that's Voronaut. Voronaut will also have its own little bestiary inside, or bestiary inside. I told you, I have dyslexia. Leave me alone. Bestiary, it's beasts. Come on, it makes sense. Help me, people, please. So, you have your bestiary, or bestiary, and it contains all the stat blocks, the lore, and everything else, and includes that whopping miniature. Now, I am working on the MSRP on that, as well as the cost for it on the Kickstarter. So bear with me. He is very big and costly, very costly. All right, I think I covered that.
He's okay. The Voronaut's Exhibit A. If you use a murder weapon.
I mean, when you look at this and you go, oh, it's enormous. The size of it is. You can hurt somebody with this, like the backside, all the detail there, and then the front. I mean, it's a big miniature. And then this one is 3D printed, so this isn't even the real product yet. That's not even hard plastic. It's very soft and brittle. But basically, in this whole set, it's solid. So this thing's weighing about, I want to say, 8 pounds, Voronaut. So the shipping cost was so much fun, especially when it's coming from China. Okay, the next question, I guess, is kind of for us. So it's very generic. What's your favorite monster? Now, I don't know if they're talking about, like your favorite D&D monster, your favorite Pathfinder, like your initial favorite RPG monster, or is it your favorite Tales of Terror monster? So I guess we'll do both. So I'm going to go with D&D first. So for D&D, I would say my favorite monster would be the Nilbog.
There you go.
Oh, shut up.
You
knew I was going to say it because we were discussing. I'm like, I kind of like the Nilbog. And you were like, oh, and you're a Nilbog. That was like the first conversation. You want to tell them the story?
No, Charles hired me. And he's like, we need distinct and unusual creatures. I don't just want it to be a bonk the character and the character bonks them back. I want them to have peculiar mechanics that make them stand out. And I knew nothing about the Nilbog. So he went down what the Nilbog does. And for those of you at home, time for homework. Go ahead, bust out your monster manuals, look up Nilbog. Brilliant. Just funny, just a great bit of flavor. And that's what Charles is going for.
Yeah, so a lot of fun. It always pisses off the players, but when they kill that Nilbog, I have never seen so much excitement. And then after that battle, what do? They go straight to the bar and they drink. They're like, we're done with this. We killed it. Let's celebrate. We're drinking. And that's what the Nilbog does for you or for me.
Promotes alcoholism.
Shush.
Unlisted ability.
Dave versus Jack Lemmon polymorph.
Just hands you a Jack Daniels. Mike, what do you think? What's your favorite?
All right. Amongst the D&D set, I would probably say the Golems in general. I enjoy. In the similar vein, like you can have multiple kinds of dragons, you can have different kinds of golems, and it's almost an excuse to get creative with what kind of golems you make. There's the clay golem, the iron golem, the stone golem, things like that. But then you can just go off the rails and make all kinds of weird stuff. Anything could be a golem. You could have like a wardrobe golem that's just made of clothes. Some wizard was lazy. He didn't want to have to constantly go back to his bedroom for his, so he would just have this golem walk up, he'd stick his hand in, pull out a robe, put it on, stick his old one in. Maybe it's got like a prestidigitation thing in there, so it just automatically cleans his clothes. Can't do anything, weak against fire, but you know what? You're always immaculately dressed.
That's like,
you're doomed. He's the one doing all the stats. So
I'm thinking of the boudoir from Beauty and the Beast, just crushing fools when they break into the Beast mansion.
Oh my gosh. Will?
You know, I was thinking only within the realm of what we do, but if you ask me in general, my favorite quote-unquote monster from any tabletop RPG, it's got to go to Orpheus. Orpheus was a White Wolf game that was built with a very distinct series of campaigns across, I think, 6 books.
Yeah. It was a limited series. It was meant to be kind of like almost like a 5-season TV show where you didn't have necessarily a generic world and then you just made your stories in it. It had a very specific plot to take over quite a bit of time. And
the mechanics thematically reflected elements of this plot really well. It was hands down the best tabletop experience I've ever had in my life. But there was a Grim Reaper. Just 100% as expected, Gothic, well, neo-Gothic Grim Reaper. That thing scared the piss out of me and the whole party. We freaked out every time it was there. It was a juggernaut, but it never felt unfair. It always felt challenging, scary, and punishing, but we always knew there was something we could do to escape it. We always had a lot of tools in our toolbox to pull it off, and every encounter was touch and go until we could finally confront it. Hands down.
Fear is only fear as long as there's hope you could survive. Once it's inevitable, then you're no longer afraid because it's inevitable. So so that was you always felt like you had a chance, which is why you were afraid of it, because you didn't want to lose that chance.
And that might be my problem. Instead of me saying my favorite monster, I've got to say that it's my favorite monster encounter.
Oh, okay.
Is if that makes a difference, because looking at a monster just in a vacuum is one thing, but looking at it within a scenario is another. The monster can be, I mean, a vampire is just a vampire, but then if you put the vampire in a particular position of, you know, they're the high priest of a temple of Helm in disguise or something peculiar like that, now you're elevating the challenge.
You're changing the general to the specific.
Yeah. So for me, it's just the creatures in the monster manual are just templates, but for me, the best encounter of a creature I've ever, and this was a repeated villain as well, so it was multiple encounters, was that Grim Reaper, man. Just top shelf.
Interesting.
As far as our stuff,
okay,
I've got to go with, I love the design of the Strigor. You can see it behind Charles right there.
Oh yeah.
But I got to say the mechanics of the Blood of Talok.
Oh yeah, you really like that one.
Just
it's very defensive.
Holy crap! Just an amazingly designed Mike. It was amazing. It was an amazing fight, Mike. We play tested it and it was just great.
What about the Strigor though? How are those? How did those mechanics?
I enjoyed the Strigor, but the thing with the Strigor is like, I mean, I love how it looked and everything else, but we were also higher level. We had more tools in the toolbox, etc. Blood of Talok was almost like I figured out the mechanics, but I didn't realize exactly how well the mechanics were going to screw all of us until I saw them in act. So like the Strigor, you could be like, oh, I could see this being a problem. With the Blood of Talok, I was like, really? I don't see how. Oh God! And that's what the Blood of Talok did. It was a sneak attack for me as a player. Like, oh, okay, we got. Oh, geez, you know, it was wonderful.
Right, and it's an amazing art piece too. Again, designed by Christoph Young. Yeah. I absolutely love it. Oh, there's so many that I like that are stretch goals too.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, we have just so many lined up. You know, even if we don't hit those stretch goals, of course, in the future we can always look back at everything we've made and then just produce them later on.
Yeah, we are not letting Blood of Talok go to waste.
Oh,
there is no way. That is
no
too good.
way. No way. It's amazing. I personally love the mechanics too. It was a great time just me watching you guys have my popcorn, eating, and it's a live stream, and I'm seeing you guys getting your ass beat. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
And we started getting desperate. Like, well, try healing it, or just we just tried. We were getting desperate. It was really
Oh
fun.
my gosh.
Start reading the dictionary.
Yeah.
Just get bored, go to sleep.
Yeah, we had to really dip into our toolbox, and we wound up blowing out. Oh God, on the Blood of Talok, Mike, we like wasted like anywhere between 20 to 40% of our team's resources just getting through that thing, and it was wonderful.
Oh, what CR rating is it? Is it a 15?
I think it's a 15,
It's a 15, yeah, CR 15.
and
So
we were
it's
a competent, well-equipped 15.
yeah, so it's considered a medium encounter in technical terms, but you guys went through some stuff beforehand and then hit that, and it
Yeah.
was like heyday.
Hey,
Yeah.
should we rest? Nah, we got told. Yeah.
We said I'm rested.
Yep.
Yeah.
We play tested it like a party would likely encounter it.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
A little worn, having gone through a couple of
Right.
encounters already, not at 100%, not all of their spells,
Yep.
just like you would normally encounter it, just to make sure you get a fair play test.
Right. And so
that's a fine example of not encountering a creature in a vacuum.
absolutely. Absolutely. And what's really cool too at the same time, not only does Mike go out and do a lot of the play testing, but I even go out too, and we choose different types of player levels. So Mike will play it in like levels that your normal players would go forth in, and then a little bit on my side is, well, GMs that want it to get very scary, one of those very classic dungeon crawling campaigns. And so I play it with more cruelty, and I can tell you this, that mechanically they are mean. These monsters are not for the ill-equipped nor individuals who are new to this role-playing game,
Yeah.
or just role-playing games in general, because they will get their ass chewed. There is no polite way of saying.
Well, with a CR15, you should not
Yeah.
that should not be someone's first D&D experience, or
Absolutely.
second or third.
Absolutely. We even had those surveys up, and when I was reading them, there was a survey about what was it? No Eye Jack. And No Eye Jack, if you look in it, you guys, has an interesting mechanic where it kind of holds a player hostage. And they said that the barbarian came in and swung at No Eye Jack, and I guess the barbarian has a little bit of post-traumatic stress disorder, because what did No Eye Jack do? Move the player in front of that weapon slash. He hurt his own player.
Yeah.
And No Eye Jack is mean, and that's a CR5. So again, watching out for the mechanics, these monsters think. So, and it's a lot of fun for the GM. We want stuff for the GM to look at and go, oh, this is going to be fun for me to run as well as for them to fight. Because after a while, when you're rolling dice in like regular monsters, let's say a dragon, your stereotypical dragon, you're just rolling just dice really, and you kind of know like all the abilities going forth.
Wing flap, tail, bite, breath attack if it's recharged.
Absolutely. But I guess I'll go now. My favorite Wicked Foundations monster. I really like the Strigor. I think everyone likes the Strigor. I love Varnot, but because Mike spoiled it, I can kind of say it. Baphomet. Baphomet is lovely. We can't really post it. I don't think. No, you can post a little bit of nudity, can you? If it's illustrated?
I think we're willing to give it a try.
Well, Baphomet looks amazing. I told Christoph, hey, don't look at everyone else's Baphomet. Don't look at, Dungeons and Dragons idea of it. Don't look at Pathfinder's idea of it. All these RPGs have created their own idea of Baphomet. We want to take it from the idea of something very muscular, but also originating with kind of the image of what the Satanic Church has created of it, and kind of like the Christian idea of what Baphomet would be. And so we took that idea and put it into our world, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, it does look great. It does look great.
It looks amazing. You can't really give it a proper noun. It's that in between stages. But gosh, I would say Baphomet's my favorite. Mechanically, we're planning on playtesting it soon, so I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah, good luck, you guys.
And honestly,
that was a CR25. Yeah, that was a 25.
And it's still work in progress. So I mean, whatever it might be, we will constantly retool and help it arrive to where it needs to be.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Mike.
Favorite one we have a figure for, or favorite one?
Oh, I think I know. Does it start with a B? A? The bard-like looking one. No. Stretch goal stuff. Does it?
I like the swarm of orphans. It's not one we have a. It's not one.
You couldn't do a mini, I don't think, for that.
It could have been hard because they kind of go into the player's spaces, so it would have been more of like a flat miniature piece.
Oh yeah, no, it's hard to do. It would be far easier to do as a flat piece to go underneath other figures because of its nature, just as a swarm. But in terms of just thematically, I was tickled pink by the idea.
Tickled pink
of a swarm of orphans, just a tight ball coming at you, only wanting a hug.
Yeah, it was like the floor is lava for our party, but orphans.
I'm trying to remember. We do have one illustration.
We do, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's the orphans coming out of the portraits.
Yeah,
I think that. It's also in our trailer. Yeah, it's also.
It's on the trailer. It's the orphans coming out of the portraits, and then they come together into the swarm of orphans.
And that's definitely something that we would design later on. We don't have a mention for it, and I didn't plan on it just yet. This was back.
That really lends itself to miniaturization.
No, and this is something we were planning for when we were doing dungeons. So.
Oh yeah, hey. No, but as a creature concept, that's the one that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah, and we won't talk about what else you put in that dungeon.
There was a lot
of new
dungeon that had to be walked back due to basic human decency.
Yeah, like it would have been pretty bad. Well, shoot. Oh, we got one last question. So where does the inspiration come for the creatures? So I guess where does the inspiration come from for the creatures? I would say on my part, I have like an initial idea, and then I would tell an artist, hey, this is my idea. And then usually the artist will create something and then show me it. And I'll go, well, hot damn, it's cooler than what I was expecting. So I take their idea instead of having the initial one, because Strigor was initially supposed to be an owl demon lord kind of thing. In the very beginning, I wanted something to be very inspirational to Edgar Allan Poe. But what Anthony Jones was giving me was something new and actually better than what I thought. And I thought, well, shoot, this would make an amazing monstrosity, almost like of a Fey court, which Will has been designing the lore for, which I can't wait to read. Pressure is all yours. And I mean, shoot, that's pretty much everything. But the way we do it here is that we have the idea, we have the illustration, and then we go into writing, and then we go into mechanics. Because visuals can help in a long run. Because let's be honest, these artists know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
And then from there on, it's amazing stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's like Christmas when I get an art piece from any of my artists, and I go, Hooray! It's my birthday.
Yeah, you've had a lot of Christmases lately.
I've had many Christmases.
Yeah, all
But
this
they're
stuff
not
rolling in.
free.
You know.
Right.
You bought yourself the present.
I did. I bought all of my presents, and I'm here to share them with you for some money. Oh my gosh. Well, I think now is the time to look in the, I guess, comment page.
Yep.
If anyone has any questions,
I've been
please.
watching it. I haven't seen anyone post yet, at least on
Oh,
the
okay.
comment pages or the comment section. But also, again, this is our first. As we do more of these, we might get more active viewing audience, etc.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we've also got a Facebook page. You can always jump on, ask questions there. You can DM us, anything of that nature. We're always on it.
Absolutely. So I guess we will wait about 2 minutes. And then I think, is there anything else? I think that's all the questions. Yeah.
No, I think that covers all the major like previous question stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And once, especially, we launch, we're going to get a lot more questions based on the logistics of shipping and things.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So, and
Shoot, we don't even have the sizes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I think we will call it quits and everything. Well, thank you for watching, and you all stay wicked.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Aloha.
What?